Hey Crown Content Publications followers, viewers, and supporters. Thank you for clicking on my video again today to see what it is I have to say. If you are new to my channel, welcome again. This is where publishing and marketing meet because we have our separate podcast show where we interview nothing but authors and entrepreneurs in our mission and attempt to rebuild the power of business networking after the setbacks of a pandemic, okay? So, a lot of businesses were impacted, and we just want to play our part at the Crown Content Publications family by somehow connecting entrepreneurs and businesses and authors with one another to keep business alive. Boom. Without business, we practically have nothing. I've done my business segments and I do my business segments on this channel. If you're interested, go back through the videos and see what it is. I hate that right here. I don't know why sometimes on the videos I don't notice that I have things going on with my skin and too. But anyways, thank you for clicking on my video. The title of this video today, y'all. Oh, hold on, I skipped a part. To learn more about our mission to service authors and freelancers in 2022, visit my website, www.contentcrownpublications.com. This is where you can find a list of publication services and business services that we do offer to entrepreneurs, resources, grant referral consultations, writing coaching consultations. You can find all this information on my website, okay? www.contentcrownpublications.com. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, IG, Crown Content 2021, on TikTok, Crown Content 24. Okay, so boom, if you saw the title of this video, it said pretty much mental health versus criminalistic mentalities, okay? Now let me tell y'all what inspired this video segment discussion topic today. Y'all see I usually have my microphone up, but hopefully I sound okay to you guys. I like to, if y'all go back to my beginning videos though, I totally needed a microphone. Like the sound quality it was terrible. But I don't have my microphone today. That's okay. I'm still finna talk real quick about what I thought was needed to talk about when I saw that in Las Cruces, New Mexico, there was a old lady shot to death pretty much by law enforcement authorities for not dropping. She had knives in her hands, guys. Go Google the story. It happened less than 48 hours ago. Today's date marks May 14, 2022. This old 70-something-year-old lady, y'all, and she was not black. It doesn't matter. She was an elder. Okay? That's why it moved my heart. And for some reason, I gotta stop watching the news, y'all, because I get actually emotional about certain stories, as if it was my grandmother or if it's my mother or my children. Okay? And I don't know if I should actually be provoked that way through mediatized stories like what's going on in Ukraine, that I had to stop watching it, y'all, because when I put myself in them people's shoes and hospitals are being blown up, nursing homes are being blown up, people being displaced from their homes, I get emotional real quick. Don't let my assertive alpha woman persona fool y'all. When I be in secret watching the news, like just crying about stuff that doesn't necessarily particularly have to do with me, right? But when I put myself in people's shoes, I'm easily moved. So I learned really quick, hey, I have to watch what I watch in the news. But back to I want to bring out this video discussion by talking about this story real quick. So Las Cruces, New Mexico, an old lady was shot. She didn't even speak English. None of the people in her household spoke English. I do not know who called law authorities to their premises, but she did have like weapons in her hand. They were not guns. They were knives, guys. Like they had to have been sharp, because when she was going like this with them, as if you're like sharpening them or clinging them together. You could hear them. And this lady was shot for not dropping them. The police gave her like 15 to 20, from what I heard in the video, 15 to 20 opportunities to just drop them. They're like, just drop the weapon. Drop the weapon, ma'am. Drop the weapon, ma'am. But she did not drop them, and she was doing too much. She ended up dropping them, you know, rest in peace. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said she was doing too much, but to them she was doing too much, to where they ended up going ahead and shooting her. And that's still sad to me. I don't care what nobody say. Like, she wasn't my grandmother or anything, but it's sad because you could hear her family in the background, like, weeping and crying and hurt that she had just been shot by the police. But it made me wonder who called them in the first place. But when it comes to mental health and trying to, you know, contain family members that are not all the way there, this could be very, very, very challenging. And I thought this was a great video topic. You know, that story alone gave me the inspiration to come on here on YouTube today and give my opinions about how to assess people with mental health issues versus people that are real criminals. Y'all notice when these people come in shooting up schools, shooting up churches, they're automatically deemed mental health, like something's wrong with them, okay? But this woman at the premises of her own house, holding knives, gets shot by the police. Like, make this make sense. It's getting weird out here, y'all. It's crazy. Like, clearly there's a difference between people with mental health issues and people with that are really just right, like they're intentional criminals. You got people out here with plenty of sense that go commit crimes, and they'll tell you when they get caught, oh, I committed this crime because I robbed this bank because I didn't have money, or I did this because I needed to feed my kids and my family. I did this right here because this is what I like to do. So you got people with sense that commit crimes. Today on my channel, we're talking about people that are not all the way here. This is a real story I'm telling y'all about a 70-something-year-old woman who just got shot in Las Cruces, New Mexico, for not dropping knives at the ordained time that the law enforcement told her to drop them. That's crazy to me. Now, should our law enforcement teams be trained to be able to recognize mental health issues in people? It's crazy because if they could, it probably would have been a whole lot less police officer on citizen deaths today. Because I bet you when they do these traffic stops, when they're getting calls to certain premises or businesses, I don't think they're really able to assess. One second, guys. So I'm back, and I hate when I do these breaks because I almost always forget exactly where I was. But I do know this topic video discussion was specifically about whether or not these people in authority, these people we trust in the state of emergency crises and things like this, are they able to decipher between mental illness and real criminalistic behavior? Once again, I was just using an example of a story that just happened recently of a 72-year-old man, somewhere in her 70s, being shot down, gunned down, and I watched the video too. She did have many chances to drop her weapon, and it wasn't a pistol, guys, it was like knives. And they warned her persistently to drop the knives, but she did not, and they ended up opening fire, okay? But also, from my observation of the video, you can tell that she either was number one on a drug or was mentally disoriented. And to me, people have lost patience, and I can see people losing patience, but you know, those in authority, law enforcement, higher seats, y'all can't lose patience with people, because The fact remains that mental illness is real. Somebody being on at their last straw, their last wit of a situation, and then y'all walking in on however they're reacting to their last straw or last wit of a situation. And for that woman that just had been taken out of here like that is very sad. But it makes me wonder how many people have cried out for help long before they're being labeled menaces or criminalistic or crazy. You know what I'm saying? They have probably cried out for help. See, I'm tired of seeing stories where we see, oh, that's another story in case y'all haven't kept up. The lady who killed her 3 kids on Mother's Day. Stories like that, yeah, I do feel like it's unfortunate, but I look at things deeper. Like, clearly this woman had to have cried out for help somewhere. Somebody saw what was going on, because neighbors came out later in this story and said, yeah, we remember seeing her one day being took out on a stretcher and crying out weird things, talking out of her head. Okay, and y'all let this woman go back home to her children? Stuff like that. If the neighbors saw that, clearly that woman and those children's family on the daddy's side knew that woman was going through some things. And it's just making me question things like, if y'all still don't think that people are out here with the very agenda to make you look crazy, that way when it all blows in the fan, you're on the news, you're looking like the crazy one. See, mental health facilities exist for a reason. I don't like the slightest thought that these places exist and that some of the people in there are probably in there because somebody conspired or a group of people conspired to have them put in there in the first place. This is nothing new. But it just seems weird. Like, you know, you can save a life or two putting them in a mental health hospital, getting them some therapy, getting them some help, before just taking a life out because somebody couldn't drop their weapon or somebody couldn't, because this lady was 70-some years old. The lady that ended up murdering her 3 children, she was not that old, okay? But it just shows us mental health is still real. She was a white lady, so I don't want to make this a racist segment or about race in any way, shape, or form. But in past times, just in the past 20 years, you had a lot of mothers who their children fell victims to their own hands. Oh, what is their penalty though? Oh, we're gonna put them in a mental house. Like, it's so many women in a mental house right now, y'all, for taking the lives of their own children. But I'm saying we need people that can actually assess whether these crimes are being done under mental health issues, and these people having a mental health issue versus them having full sense and just choosing to be a criminal, just choosing to take those type of acts out on people. Because I can see where this is going. If we can't decipher anymore who's mentally ill and who's just committing crimes because not only did they plot it, they were completely aware that they plotted it, they had 100% sense when they plotted it. Like, what happened to being able to assess cases this way? I guarantee you this lady that this story that just came out about a lady killing her children on Mother's Day, I guarantee you one of the first things they're going to holler is she was mentally ill. But then again, you got all these lives that have been taken by people we're supposed to be able to trust and call in a state of emergency. And they give you every excuse. Well, we thought he or she was reaching for a gun, or we thought this was going on, or we thought he was about to cause us harm. George Floyd. But then they put people in mental hospitals and deem them crazy, the ones that they choose to. I don't get what's up with that. Y'all leave y'all opinions in the comments, but that's crazy to me. All at the same time, what was yesterday's video podcast discussion about? Shortage of baby formula, attacks on children, attacks on parents. I just thought I would share at least my little comment opinion We get in a dangerous place when we can no longer assess when they are mentally off. And those of y'all that are witnessing people be mentally off around you and you're not doing anything about it, you're not doing anything to get them some help, you're not doing anything to help them, then you boo-hooing and crying when something tragic happens. It's crazy. Like, a lot of y'all I'm talking about is family members with sick people in the family. You don't help the situation because you're sitting around talking about them. How y'all think that make them feel? Because that ain't help. That's not help. Sitting around laughing at them. Sitting around trying to trap them. Just thinking that it's funny to see somebody in a mental health crisis before trying to get them some help. And now it's funny. Or now it's woe is you because you have somebody with a mental health mishap in the family. Like, y'all crazy. And a lot of mental health issues are inherited. They're passed down through bloodline. The people y'all sitting back mocking and talking about did not choose to be the way that they are. Oh, but when a tragedy happened, brother kills sister, son kills mom, mom taking the lives of her own children. When these type of stories come out, everybody's boo-hooing and saying how sad it is. I'm boo-hooing and saying how sad it is, but I'm also looking at the deeper point here. Who is helping these people before situations even get to that level? Who is stepping up in these families? Man, it's so many homeless shelters, y'all, full of people who tell the same narrative. This is number one, or this seems to always be a part of the narrative. My family doesn't care about me. My family won't let me come stay. My family, this, and that. And family be quick to say, well, she got too many kids, she's on drugs. But my questions to the family is, have you ever stepped in to try to get that person some help? Have you ever tried to have some type of family counseling to see why that person is like the way that they are? Why they have turned to drugs? Why they don't respect you? Why they feel like your help is really hurting them or abusing them some type of way? Like, why would a family member just randomly choose to be homeless, but you've done them no wrong? And I say it a lot on my segments. If there's a God, a lot of people are in trouble. And I say if there's a God to be rhetoric. Because we live in a day where law enforcement cannot tell anymore. When they get a call on the scene about something, it seems like they can't tell anymore whether to go look up somebody and find out if they're already in the MHMR system, they're taking medication, they're crazy, they're just ready to shoot, they're ready to apprehend, they're ready to arrest people when they get these extreme emotional and violent calls, emergency calls. We got to do better as a society, man. This is ridiculous. And I know just about all of us has at least a family member or two that everybody's sitting around joking, laughing, calling them crazy, calling them throwed off. How is that funny? What are you doing to get that person some help? Where are you taking accountability, especially if it's your child, your niece, your nephew, your grandchild? That'd be crazy to me. Like, y'all can't fool me. Y'all are the family members of these people. So there was some trauma or some hurt or something somewhere. People just don't want to take accountability. They rather see everything fall apart. They rather see these crazy people or these mentally ill people hurt themselves or go hurt others before they come out and tell enforcement or mental health hospitals, look, yeah, I probably played a small part in my family members' mental mishap. I probably played a small part in why my son or my daughter is that way. Nobody wants to take that type of accountability. But they don't mind abusing you. They don't mind laughing at you. They don't mind setting you up to look like the crazy person. And they feel like there should be no penalty that comes with it. Why am I talking like this? Just Mother's Day, a mother takes the life of her own 3 children. I think that's mental health crisis stuff. Because the way the natural cycle of life works, that mother would have known way a long time ago whether she was mentally stable to take care of those children. how the natural life works, a mother is appalled. She's overjoyed. She's happy when a baby is born. She has plenty of time to decide whether she wants that baby or not. So these kids were like 12, 10. Y'all go look up the story. They're not like older or in teenage age, but they were older to where you can tell she had plenty of time to decide whether she wanted those kids tonight or not. So to me, it's something more to this story too. My problem is where media tell y'all these stories where unfortunate events happen like this. Mothers taking their kids' lives, husbands taking their wives' lives and stuff like this. But they're not going into depth. We never see further into the story, like what was going on in that family before that unfortunate event even came about. Who was talking about who hated who wasn't helping who resented who despised who. Because it doesn't matter if y'all don't want to hear it. 3 children are not here today, and their lives were taken on Mother's Day, whether we knew the woman or not. Because humans still can't take accountability for their actions. That's who I'm waiting. When it comes to that story, I'm wondering if her family is going to be interviewed. If the families of the children's fathers are going to be interviewed at some point. Y'all just looking to wait to hear what she's going to get charged, what they're going to decide, what the penalty is going to be that she took her children's lives. That's crazy. No. What was going on in her family? Check her text messages. Who was she reaching out to for help before they came to? Am I defending her? No, I don't know the woman. I think it's very unfortunate that she ended up taking her kid's life. Y'all know what story I'm talking about. If you don't, it's time you go Google it, because it's very rare that a parent, I'm not saying these type of stories haven't happened before, it's been a minute since we've seen it, but it's rare that a parent just say, man, yep, I'm finna take my own kid's life. Something is definitely mentally wrong with that, because it's not the natural. It's not natural at all. When you got fire stations that'll take your kids, orphanages, the state you can give them over to, family members you can give them over to, but you still decide, nope, I'm going to just take their life, and I'm the mom, and this is what I want to do. How is that natural? How is that normal? How do we call that unfortunate, but nobody's out here digging deeper into the story? Like, what was this woman going through with her baby daddy and his people? With her family, who knew 9 times out of 10 she had kids. We starting to live in a day, y'all. If you do love your kids, if you do love your family, and I'm talking about your immediate, like, immediate to me, husband, children, wife, that's immediate. But some would say mother, father, sister, brother. You can't even trust all that no more. It's sad. This is why I say you can't trust it, because not everybody is willing to look at things from a mental health perspective. Like, oh, our brother's not crazy. He's dealing with a mental health crisis. And he's dealing with trauma, and this is probably why he's dealing with trauma. Or my auntie is not crazy. She's dealing with trauma. She's dealing with the after effects. If we're all dealing with the after effects of a pandemic, and that was traumatic to us all as citizens, imagine the people who have just dealt with trauma in everyday life on different levels, who are out here trying to deal with that plus the after effects of a pandemic. These are the results we get. Crime rates are going up. Abuse case percentages are going up. It's like bringing all this chaos into the world and then telling people to stay as normal as they can possibly be through it. I encourage you, if you're a therapist out there and maybe you do work for a company, maybe you have a secret, secret wasn't the word I was trying to use, but private practice, man. Y'all got a lot of work to do out here. I'm even thinking about what I'm going to be doing after I finish the degree plan program I'm in. Because I'm stuck in between studying criminal justice and becoming a mental health advocate myself. Studying to become a therapist. Because as y'all see, I do have a heart that cares. When I hear about these type of stories out here in the media, I care. I can write books to raise awareness. I'm already on that. But it's like, how can I help people for real? Like individual to individual type of thing. I can't offer therapy sessions right now because I'm not educated to be able to do that. But I don't have to be educated to see that there's a problem. There's a problem when people have been They don't want to reverence mental health. Everybody wants to have a reason why they snapped, why they got angry. I know somebody getting therapy right now. I'm not going to even name the age, but they definitely talk about anger issues and ways to handle them. But you adults out there don't feel like you need a reason for why you snapped on that man or that woman or that child. That's crazy. That is mental health. That's mentally related. Especially if that person was related to you, or you had some form of relationship with that person at one point, and now all of a sudden you feel like you have the right to abuse somebody. You have the right, because all I'm saying, y'all, abuse opens the door to so many, the lid to so many different cans of worms. It's not funny. But we all think it's funny till these unfortunate events happen. I never think it's funny. I've seen the type of trauma people been through. Anyways, are we able to decipher the difference between mental health cases and intentional criminalistic cases? Because if we can't, it's crazy. The fact is, not everybody out here playing like they're in their right mind is in their right mind, guys. And some of them, if you listen to them close enough, they're going to tell you, like, they'll still bring up their trauma. They'll still bring up, you know what I'm saying, things that bother them because they just talk about it. And y'all weren't even on that. You weren't even meaning for the conversation to go that way. Like, they're just still talking about it. You're supposed to pay attention to that type of stuff, so you know the type of proper help to get that person. When people are crying for help, are we able to recognize that? Suicidal people, before 9 times out of 10, before they even went that route and committed it, they were talking to somebody about it. They were talking to somebody about how they were feeling or what they were going through. We're not saying that you guys should be the professional help that people need, but do all you can to try to help people get that professional help. And that's free. Just because you hear somebody talking suicidal, or because you hear somebody talking like they might want to take their own child out of here, they might want to take their own sibling or husband out of here. Y'all don't understand how that's mentally off? Regardless of what reason they're telling you in secret, they feel like they should, or they feel like they are going to go that point. I think people say things for a reason. And those of us that they're talking to, you're put to the test, because then what do? You sit back and do nothing. You might as well be just as much of a murderer as that mentally health off person is once they're on the news for something tragic that just happened. You may as well be charged just like them because they cried out to help to you, and what did you do? Oh, I didn't take her that serious, girl, when she was talking about setting her sister up and getting her took. I didn't take that serious when she was talking about doing her daughter like this, her son like this. Why wouldn't you take people's mental health, things that just seem off when they talking like that? Why wouldn't you take that serious and try to call and get them some help or report what they just told you? I bet it'll wake people up, and people would be more aware. The people that are aware of the crimes they commit, yeah, they would check that real quick, because now they know awareness is being raised for people to start reporting what people are telling them in secret that just sound mentally off about somebody. And you got people that set strangers up. So I'm saying it's even more off when it's somebody relatively close to you talking about harming themselves or harming somebody that's close to them. Why wouldn't you think that's mentally off? The world's so off today. Y'all stay quiet about this type of stuff. Abusive relationships and what somebody done told you they gonna do to somebody. You stay quiet about that. I don't get it. I don't get the logic in it. And you see how much worse society is getting. Well, I'm going to stay quiet about this. It got nothing to do with me. But you're really not quiet because you really watching the whole time. Y'all some messy, nosy people, too. I'm hoping that my Human Habits segments help somebody out there. Like, really look in the mirror and look at who you are. Because if somebody is sitting in secret telling you, and I'm cheating on my wife, and this is what I would do to my wife if she ever tried to tell me not. Just weird conversations like that, and they think they're venting to you. But you, as a healthy individual, a healthy-minded individual, you hear this type of stuff, and you're not saying anything about it because you feel like it's not your business. That's weird to me. You don't have to tell that person, but definitely trying to get that other person some help, and they don't even have to know it was you. All they know, the mental health crisis hotline, calling them all of a sudden, checking on them, wanting to do an evaluation, checking on where they might be because of something they said to somebody who they didn't know was really assessing and listening to what they were saying. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video podcast discussion with the Crown Content Publication Services family. We're publishing and marketing me. Of course, on this channel, I'm not looking for popularity. I'm looking for authenticity. I'm looking for people to network and connect with that see the crises that are going on in society and actually want to be a part of the change that happens for the future of our children. We still have babies out here, y'all. We got babies that's graduating this month, and we got babies younger than them that will be one day. But the way that the course of nature is beginning to happen with mankind, with society right now, it makes you wonder, like, boy, what is the world going to be like when our little ones get to adults? Will there be a healthy world for them? What is this going to have to come to? What is this going to have to come to? Well, while I'm here, I very well make sure that I show my students, my children, or kids I come in contact with that, I do what I can to try to make a difference in this. I'm not with what every Jack, Daniel, and Harry does in society today just because I'm an adult like them or just because it's a trend. Like, my kids really know this about me. They know when I'm emotionally moved because of a story I've seen on the news. That has nothing to do with me. They may or may not feel the same way when they get a certain age, but they can see that. And I'm glad, and I hope there's more kids out here that can see the authenticity. Authenticity. I can't even say the word right now, y'all. They can see the authenticity in you. We need more young people to see that. Because, like I just talked about the story, there are 3 young people for sure that did not make it into this week because their lives were taken by the hands of their own mother over Mother's Day. Now, do I know that to be a fact right now? That's what the media is saying. They feel like they have evidence. The neighbors are even reporting, that they saw she was a little off and all this different stuff long before that happened. So it's really sad, y'all. To me, my main point, if you get nothing else out of this segment that I was trying to say, are we able to still decipher the difference between a mental health crisis crime, which I still feel like can be stopped if somebody is getting that mental health, that person with those disabilities, some help at some point, especially during the pandemic. We don't need a bunch of menaces walking around, unstable people walking around. If anything, they look at this as an advantage. Like, well, I got the advantage to go be crazy. The world's falling apart. We got to really start thinking like this because everybody is not wired right, y'all. And scarily, they're on your jobs, they're in your schools, they're your neighbors. They can walk around like they're normal. What do I call it? But it's those signs I'm trying to tell y'all. When you hear somebody talking kind of funny, and I wouldn't care how much sense they seem to have, they just talking funny. They just practically threaten somebody to you, but you didn't even look at it that way, You just like, well, it ain't my business. But this person is venting to you about how they feel and something they thinking about going to do, and you didn't see no need to go get help. For the children that might be in that situation, for the father, for the mother that might be in that situation, it makes me really see the true intentions of human nature in this world today. And it's unhealthy. People love drama and chaos, They love it. But then they like to get on the news and play like that's so unfortunate. Once again, where was the family of the mother who killed the 3 kids? Where was they at? Where was they at? Because I guarantee you, I'm telling y'all, they go check that woman's phone. It would tell a whole from emails to text messages. These women were somewhere crying out for help, but where was the help? That's my point. Now babies' lives are taken. This old lady who they just killed in Las Cruces, New Mexico, because she wouldn't drop the weapon. Like, clearly she was mentally off. She was 70 something years old and she just got shot right there in her home like that. Where was the family? Well, in this video, if it's still circulating out there, because I watched it earlier, you can hear her family screaming and crying in the background. So that one I don't understand. But obviously things had escalated to the point where somebody called the police over there. The woman had knives and she looked a little drunk, you know. Police telling her to drop them. She ends up getting shot because she didn't drop the weapons. But I'm saying, y'all, if she was drunk or high off some drug or something, there should be a certain protocol for when emergency responders get to a situation and they see that whatever this crime looks like is mentally ill, mental health related. Does that still exist? Or are everybody just criminals? Are everybody just terroristic threats? Are everybody just suspicious nowadays? Like, no, mental illness is still a real thing. Comment your opinions at the bottom, man, if you saw either of the two stories that I am referencing to today. Because it's sad. All I'm trying to do is raise awareness. I literally did a autism awareness, not just YouTube segment, but podcast in the month of, I believe it was April, Autism Awareness Month, because autism really is just one mental illness out of the million other ones that exist out here. Another one that's inherited, like it's hereditary. The people with autism, the people with Down syndrome cannot control that. But these are the ones y'all sit back and laugh at. People with anxiety, they can be passed down. And there's different forms of anxiety. Some cases more severe than others. What I do, I respect the people that are living with mental illnesses and you can't even tell they got it. Or you got it, but they calling it something else. Like, I'm telling y'all, mental illnesses are not, I never was an advocate of this until I started seeing it as an adult myself. Like, people don't respect the fact that mental illness is real, mental health is real, and how you have to take care of it. Something like your diet can affect your mental health. If drugs and alcohol do, you know your diet does. You know your environment does. So that's not saying it's going to make the mental health, the mental illness you're suffering from just go away. People quietly dealing with depression right now somewhere, y'all. Anxiety, stress. And it is a silent killer for those of y'all that didn't know. Okay? Or they're dealing with anger. Just out of control anger and rage. And they don't look at it as a mental illness. Now somebody get hurt, or the people in their family didn't take it serious as a mental illness. Now somebody get hurt, and what I see, y'all quick to defend them. Y'all quick to say everything in the book, but that it was mental illness, and then we all hurt when somebody's life is gone, when they in prison serving all this time. But the question remains, what are y'all doing to help people in these situations, guys? Like, really? Because as a society, this is getting out of control. I'm not saying that we need a purge of mental illnesses, because as long as humans exist, somebody will end up having mental illness. Like, do y'all see where I'm coming from? Somebody will always suffer from that because it's hereditary. How are we handling it though as a society? What penalties and prices are we paying that we are not taking these things a little more serious? I'm finna cut this off. I've been trying to cut it out for a second, but I'll probably do a part 2 where I'm giving more facts and statistics when it comes to this topic, because mental illness is real. People's lack of knowledge about it is probably why they are not seeking help for loved ones and family members that they notice have certain traits and qualities. You know, it's crazy, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to another segment with the Crown Content Publications Services family, where publishing and marketing meet. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where we have more video discussion topics just like these, tips for writers, advice for entrepreneurs and small business owners, promotion and marketing of authors and entrepreneurs. You might want to stay tuned. Thank you guys and for your support, and until next time.